Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Gamecock Central Radio. GamecockCentral.com presents Gamecock Central Radio with Kip Bouknight. I'm your host, Emerson Phillips, and we're coming to you from the Gamecock Central Studios. South Carolina baseball coming off a 3-game sweep over the Missouri Tigers. And, Kip, we talked about it last week here on Gamecock Central Radio. The Gamecocks needed one bad this weekend, and they delivered in a big way, and it didn't come easy Friday night. Had to come from 4-1 down in the 6th to win, and the Gamecocks found a way to scrap back and win on Friday, and sure enough, they get the sweep, and now we're getting ready for Florida. Big weekend for Gamecock baseball.
Yeah, it was a big weekend, Emerson. I tell you, to think back to, kind of how the moxie of the team after losing to Georgia 2 out of 3, and kind of to me a pivotal weekend was this weekend, and being down 4-1 on Friday night and coming from behind like they did. That's a win for me that I think it was, depending on how the rest of the year goes, I think you could look back and say that was a major turning point for them. To be able to come from behind and win that game after being down 4-1 in the 6th inning, that was just a huge victory, good momentum, and they carried it over into Saturday and Sunday, and the bats were just outstanding. And I think a couple different guys got some work out of the bullpen, and guys did really, really well. It was a good all-around weekend for the Gamecocks for sure.
No doubt about it. South Carolina trailed Game 1 on Friday 4-1, entering the bottom of the 6th. But the Gamecocks got a Alex Destino double and a Jonah Bride RBI hit. And then Gene Cone got a 2-out, 2-run double down the left field line to give the Gamecocks a 5-4 lead. Carolina scored 7 runs in the last 3 innings and beat Missouri 8-5 in Game 1. Clark Schmidt, 5 2/3 with 4 runs allowed. He gave up 9 hits, struck out 5, and walked 2. But, Kip, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Your starters aren't going to give you 7 or 8 every week, and you got to have other players pick up the slack when your starters, who have been so good this year, don't have their best stuff. And it looks like Schmidt did not on Friday, but the Gamecocks found a way to rally and win. It was really a big win.
It was a big win, but, you look back and the bullpen did a good job. Clark Schmidt's not going to throw 7, 8 innings and give up 0 to 3 runs every single time out. It's just not going to happen. So it's just overall a great team win, and I think Jerry Myers did a wonderful job managing the pitching staff this weekend, managing guys, picking, when was the right time for them to come out. I just think he did a wonderful job of that, and got a couple new faces in there. But, Reed Scott, Tyler Johnson, obviously Reagan finishing on Saturday was outstanding. And, hopefully, the little outing today from Brandon Murray, hopefully that's a positive outing for him to move forward in. And, I still think we're going to have a couple more guys in the bullpen step up. And they did that this weekend a little bit, so hopefully that'll carry them over to the next weekend. And Gamecocks are in a great position. I tell you look back at all the years, really, the Ray Tanner era and getting into Chad Holbrook's era, I don't know if at this point of the season that they've ever been in this good of a position. They're really in a great position, and only lost 1 game at home all season long. That's pretty special. I believe they're 25-1 now at home. That's pretty awesome.
Right, the Gamecocks are 33-8 overall, 14-4 in the SEC, and they've got a 1-game lead over the Florida Gators in the SEC, and Florida coming to town for 3 at Founders Park this coming weekend. Let me tell you about Game 2 this past Saturday against Missouri. South Carolina 5-1 over the Tigers. Gamecocks scored 2 runs in the bottom of the first. First 5 batters reached base. Alex Destino with an RBI single. Destino had 4 runs knocked in the ball game. Braden Webb picked up another win. He's now 8-2 on the year. He worked 5 2/3, gave up 1 run on 4 hits, struck out 10. Reed Scott worked a scoreless inning of relief, and junior left-hander Josh Reagan worked 2 1/3 scoreless innings for his 11th save of the year, and that set the table for Sunday's Game 3, a 9-2 South Carolina victory. And how about Gene Cone, Kip? A school record 27-game hitting streak, and Cone did it in grand fashion on Sunday. He went 5 for 5 with 3 runs knocked in. He was just a home run short of the cycle, and it was South Carolina's second 5 for 5 game by an individual player this year. Destino did it against Clemson back on March the 4th. So Gene Cone writes his name into the Gamecock history book, and the Gamecocks pick up the sweep over Missouri.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier for Gene Cone. I tell you, he's a fine young man. I've had an opportunity to coach him a little bit when he was in high school and be around him. He's a great kid. Couldn't happen to a better person. I think he does things the right way. I think that's kind of what got him back into the lineup this year when he was sitting a little bit. He does the little things. He hits the cutoff man. He just plays the game the right way, and he's obviously seeing the ball really, really well right now, and he is really putting together impressive SEC year hitting. I mean, I think he's hitting probably close to 450 in conference play. So he's definitely clicking on all cylinders, and he's definitely setting the table pretty well in the leadoff position. It's been outstanding, and I think Coach, again, going back to Coach Myers, thinking about how he used his pitchers this weekend, I think it was a perfect opportunity to bring Josh Reagan in like he did for an extended amount of time and go ahead and win the series. You know, you got an opportunity to take Saturday's game and win the series. And, hey, even if he doesn't get to pitch on Sunday, that's okay. And, you know, it's very, very impressive. Josh Reagan has been outstanding, and good to see him finish the game on Saturday and you know, go ahead and take the series. Very impressive.
All right, T.J. Hopkins 3 for 5 on Sunday. 2 runs, 3 runs knocked in for Hopkins. John Jones was 2 for 5 with an RBI. Alex Destino 3 for 5 and 2 runs knocked in. And freshman Adam Hill ran his record to 6-0, working 6 1/3 innings, 4 hits allowed, struck out 8, walked 1. Gamecocks scored 2 runs in the first inning, 2 more in the fourth, and 2 in the eighth, and beat Missouri 9-2. So that sets the stage for the Florida series. This is Gamecock Central Radio with Kip Bouknight. I'm your host, Emerson Phillips. You can download the Gamecock Central Radio app on the App Store and on Google Play. To subscribe to the podcast, search for Gamecock Central Radio on iTunes, SoundCloud, and other popular services, or just visit radio.GamecockCentral.com. Kip, South Carolina and Florida coming up. Both teams ranked in the top 5 in a couple of major polls. Gamecocks ranked as high as number 4, and Florida took 2 out of 3 from Georgia this past weekend. They played Thursday, Friday, Saturday, lost game 1 to Georgia 2-1, but bounced back to beat the Dogs 6-0 in game 2 and 4-1 in game 3. And neither the Gamecocks nor the Gators have got a midweek game this week, so everybody really dialed in for what's got to be the biggest series in the SEC this year coming up this weekend at Founders Park.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time for South Carolina baseball. I'm sure it'll probably be a sellout every game, and hopefully we'll have good weather. And I tell you, I really, really think, you know, I just don't see it being a very high-scoring series. I think it's going to be tough to score against Florida. I hope I'm wrong. But they've got some really, really good arms. And, you know, South Carolina pitching staff is going to have to really, really pitch well to win this series. The good thing is we're home. And another good thing is they're in a great, great position. So this is not one of the weekends you go into it thinking, oh, well, if they don't win 2 out of 3, the season's over, because it's not. They're in a great position. They've got a chance essentially to, you know, put themselves in a really good position to try to win the East. And you're playing for national seeding right now. You know, if you can win 2 out of 3 this weekend and finish the season well, you're looking at a top national 8 seed, which is huge. You know, that gives them the host throughout the regionals, and I'm sure it'll be a great environment. Hopefully, we will definitely make it a home field environment for our guys and make it really tough for the Gators. But, you know, I could not think of a better way to go into the series after a little bit of some adversity in the last couple of weeks and come back with a big series sweep over the Missouri Tigers.
Should be a huge crowd for all 3 games this weekend. Packed house at Founders Park. 7 o'clock first pitch Friday, 7 p.m. on Saturday, and 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon for Game 3. South Carolina and Florida. The Gamecocks are 14-4 in the SEC. Florida is 13-5. And, Kip, we haven't really talked a lot about the Gamecocks' prospects for a top 8 national seed, but the later we get in the year, the more it becomes a topic of conversation. And this weekend's result against Florida will go a long way toward determining if the Gamecocks are in the top 8 at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, Emerson, and the good thing about it is we actually are having these conversations. You know, you look back at last year and the frustrations and, you know, obviously, you know, I look back at all the injuries South Carolina had last year, and I just cannot be happier for the players and the coaching staff and Coach Holbrook. They've done a wonderful job. And, again, to be 25-1 at home at this point in the season is pretty daggone special. I mean, that is just that's, you know, if fans are upset or griping about anything right now, I just don't know how you can, because they are doing a wonderful job. And baseball is a sport you can't win every single game, but boy, they sure are winning a heck of a lot more than they're losing. And they're playing with energy, they're playing with passion, and I think there's a lot of want to. I think there's a lot in this team that is again, that game on Friday night for me is huge. They don't win that game last year, no way. They just didn't have the belief in themselves. And some may say, oh, well, they're a much better team this year. Yeah, but you still got to have the intangibles. And I hear Coach Holbrook talk about it a good bit. He's got the locker room. And that locker room believes in the coaches, and they believe in each other. And that makes all the difference in the world in how your guys come to the park every day, because it's got to be fun. You got to enjoy the guys you're around, and you got to freaking want it, and they do. They're playing right now really, really hard, and they believe in each other, and they're picking each other up when certain guys aren't doing well. And it's I think back to watching John Jones after he was 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, and we won that game. I think it was the first game against I believe it was against Georgia. I think it was. I could be wrong, but it was a game when John Jones was 0 for 5 with a golden sombrero, and I watched him go out and celebrate. Yeah, it was 3-1. And Schmidt threw a complete game, and he went out and celebrated. He was the first one out there on the field celebrating a team win. That tells me a lot about the heart and character of a guy like John Jones, and he's certainly a great leader in the locker room and done a great job this season on the field.
Florida's number 2 in the country in the USA Today coaches poll. They're also number 2 in the nation in the D1 baseball poll. So we've got a clash of the Titans, a battle for SEC supremacy this weekend, South Carolina and Florida. Big college baseball matchup, and we do expect good crowds. And if the weather's good, Kip, it should be an outstanding weekend of college baseball. We appreciate your time. Thank you, my man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Kip Bouknight, and I'm Emerson Phillips, and this is Gamecock Central Radio. We'll have a full preview of the Florida series coming up later in the week. Thanks for joining us.